Razna National Park was founded in 2007 to preserve the cultural and natural landscape of the Latgala region. Lakes and islands, a variety of meadows, oak forests and natural ancient evergreen forests. The best known lake in the park is Lake Razna. It is the second largest lake in Latvia, with a surface area of 57 square kilometres. It's often called the Sea of Latgala. The banks of the lake are mostly sandy, but the eastern shore is a pebble beach, rare for Latvia. There are 24 species of fish live in the lake: whitefish, vendance, eels, and lake-dwelling dwarf smelt. Lake Razna is very popular with fishermen since perch, pike, and silver bream also abound. Next time, we will have to bring our fishing rods. It is not for nothing that Latgala is called the Land of Blue Lakes. There are more than 100 lakes in the territory of the park, including Lake Ilzaits, Lake Plaudaits, Donauklis, and Borauga, very Latgalian these names. The lakes of Razna National Park are also important bird areas. Lake Razna is home to the Eurasian bittern. Several families of osprey live on the shores of Lake Soloia, and the black terns just love Lake Kaunata.
Lake Ezezers is well known for its islands, many of which are covered with forests of broadleaf trees. The Pilori oak grove, with trees that are centuries old, lies on the northern shore. It's not every day that one can visit such an awesome place as this. We were really tempted to explore the islands, so we asked some employees from the Nature Conservation Agency to take us there. Environmental Inspector Irēna Muskare joined us on one of the islands of Lake Ezezers.
Viens no salām bagātākajiem ezeriem ne tikai Latgalē, bet arī Baltijā. Kopumā Ezezeram ir aptuveni 36 salas, bet to skaits varēja atkarībā no ūdens līmeņa. Pastāvīgas salas ir 29, bet var manīt kaut kādas tādas salveidīgas veidojumus, kas kopumā varētu būt ap 36.
Walking around the island, we had the feeling that time had stopped and we'd been transported to some land of ancient legend. Old, lichen-covered trees, mossy hillocks, and the rustle of the leaves in the breeze all contributed to this feeling. On closer inspection, we discovered a large variety of insects, butterflies, and snails on the old tree trunks. Explorers of nature must be in seventh heaven here. The inspector told us that a number of different habitats had been found on the islands, including broadleaf forests and wet spruce forests.
People say that the best views of Razna National Park and its lakes are from Mākoņkalns and Lielais Liepokalns. We decided to go to the Watchtower on top of the Lielais Liepokalns, which rises 289 metres above sea level and is the highest point in Latgala. The climb was not easy, but we were rewarded with fantastic views. In the area around Lielais Liepokalns, there are forested hill slopes and ravines. The many hollow old trees are favourite nesting places for the black woodpecker and the middle spotted woodpecker. The hollows are also prized by other species, insects and spiders, bats and squirrels. The fallen trees are inhabited by various kinds of insects and snails, and they provide food for many forest animals and birds. Razna National Park is rich in many species of animals. Not only the large herbivores, but also wolves and lynxes live in the park's natural forests.
The more we see, the clearer it becomes that a few days are far too short a time to see all that the park has to offer. Just like the locals said, there is no lack of things to do. You can fish, drive out to Andrupen farm, you can go horseback riding, and you must certainly try the black or smoke sauna. And if you want to learn more about the national park, then it is worthwhile taking a trip to Lipuški, where a visitor centre has been built on the shores of Lake Razna. Children and adults alike will be fascinated by the wealth of information about the park's natural environment. As is common for Latgale, Razna National Park rightfully boasts of its craftspeople. Potters, weavers, woodcarvers, blacksmiths, carpenters, and traditional hostesses, creating local country fare. Andrupen farm is known for honouring and observing the old traditions that are highly prized both in Latvia and abroad. Andrupen farm is a typical 19th century homestead with a main house, a storage house, a barn, a granary for processing grain, a Latvian-style sauna, and a smithy. Some of the buildings were transported from the village of Libiņi in the Andrupen municipality, but others were built from the ground up, according to the old traditions. Here, you can see how people once lived in Latgale, and also taste traditional Latgalian dishes prepared on the spot by the mistress of the farm. The Andrupen Museum also takes part in the culinary heritage movement. That means that you can order and enjoy Latgalian delicacies, whose main ingredients are locally grown potatoes, grain, and bacon. It's earthy, filling, and honest country food, and extremely tasty.
From Andrupeni, we take the road that leads to Lake Razna and once again feast our eyes on this beautiful landscape so typical of Latgale. As we travel through the national park, we also discover a great deal about the cultural heritage of the region, including the manor houses that were built during various historical periods. Loznava Manor was built at the beginning of the 20th century and, after the restoration was completed in 2014, it has become a community house for the entire Rezekne region. In the fall of 2013, a nature education centre was created at Jaundoama Manor, where visitors can now enjoy an exhibit on the natural wonders of Ezhazars. Integral to the Latgalian landscape are, of course, the Catholic and Orthodox churches and the prayer houses of the Old Believers. In the 16th century, Latgale became a part of Poland, which meant adopting Catholic traditions in this part of the country. The Polish landlords funded the construction of many a beautiful church in the area. We saw some of these on our journey. The Kaunata Church was built in 1850, but its history dates back to an old wooden church that stood there in the late 17th century. Pastor Haralds Brox told us about the bats that live in the attic of the church, but only show themselves at dusk.
Not far from Kaunata, guests are awaited at a farm with the curious name of Hills of the Ginger Falls. These stables raise a kind of horse that is typical of Latgale, a runner brought to this part of Latvia from Russia in the 19th century. Keeping and caring for a fast, reliable horse was a matter of honour. These runners were used mostly for transportation. However, horse racing was popular in Latgale through the 1980s. But the tradition died out in the 1990s. Even so, a number of farms continue to raise these horses and keep up the traditions. Good for them. It's certainly worth it. Our trip ends on the eastern shore of the lake, a favourite place for vacationers. Both camping and overnight stays in the guest house are available. The day is over and we're bursting with impressions. The only thing left to do is to give in to the beautiful sunset over the lake.